You are having uncontrollable food cravings because you are stressed, not because you lack willpower. When we're stressed, the body produces cortisol. It's known as the stress hormone. And cortisol makes your body crave salty, sugary, high concentrated foods because it thinks it needs the extra fuel to fight the stress. So if you truly want to overcome food cravings, get a handle on the way you feed yourself, then you have to take stress seriously. Hi, I'm Maria LiPuma, the creator of the Body Confidence Solution, where I help health-conscious women enjoy food freedom, release excess weight naturally, and step into their lives with more confidence and esteem. And today I'm sharing 3 steps that will help you to stop uncontrollable food cravings. So, my history of overcoming these challenges, for many years I struggled with uncontrollable food cravings. I would try to use willpower and control, but sooner or later my resolve was not strong enough and I would end up giving in to the food cravings, not realizing that stress was really the driver. And the more I tried to control, the less I was able to manage the food cravings. So I started to feel like I couldn't trust myself around food. As a matter of fact, I remember a time when I was dating my first husband, and we went out to dinner, and we were pretty new to each other, so he hadn't learned about my craziness around food and diets. And I had just moved into my new apartment, and he took me out to dinner. We went out to dinner, and afterwards we stopped, and he bought a big thing of ice cream, a big container of sort of specialty ice cream. We went to my apartment, and he had a little ice cream, and I put it in the freezer. Of course, I said no because I was not eating sweets. I wasn't eating anything like ice cream. And when he left, I looked at that ice cream and I knew that if I didn't get rid of it, that I was going to be eating that ice cream, and I didn't want to be eating all of that ice cream. So I actually took the ice cream and I flushed it down the toilet bowl. A couple of days later, he came over again and he asked about the ice cream. He thought he wanted some more ice cream, and he asked if he could have some. And I told him that I threw the ice cream away, because I knew that if I didn't throw it away, that I would be eating it. It was the only way that I could stop myself from those uncontrollable food cravings. He had no concept of what I was doing because he didn't have that same experience. I bet if you struggle with food cravings, you know exactly what I was doing, because it was either keeping it out of my sight so I couldn't give into it, or eating it. And so he quickly learned that I had a lot of craziness around food, and that one of the ways that I stopped myself from these food cravings was to not have it around. Now, fast forward many years later, I now keep all kinds of things in my house. I say yes or no to them. I come from a place of intention. I have cultivated many practices in my healing journey with food, weight, and body image that have really enabled me to make choices and decisions and to start to trust myself about feeding myself the foods that I want to eat, rather than being compelled by uncontrollable food cravings. And I know that you might be thinking, well, that's great. You were able to overcome it. But I have tried so many times in so many ways, and there must be something wrong with me because I just can't get beyond this. But the truth is that you are likely trying harder instead of trying different. I've worked with so many women over the years, and after you've been trying to control and trying to exert willpower for so many years, and it's eventually the willpower is not strong enough to overcome the deeper drivers, which are the stress, which is the stress that's really fueling the need for the craving, that you start to maybe believe that there's something wrong with you, you're not enough, there's something wrong with your body. And so it creates all kinds of beliefs and patterns that keep us from finding the solution that can give us more freedom and more peace and more happiness. But I'm here to tell you that there is a solution. And today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 steps to stop uncontrollable food cravings. So the first thing that's necessary to stop food cravings is to stop restrictive dieting. And I know that if you want to release weight or you've been struggling to release weight, restrictive dieting becomes the go-to for many health-conscious women, because we feel like we don't like ourselves the way we look, and we want to control how we look, and we go on these diets, and usually it sets us up for more cravings, because you're under eating, you're not feeding your body the nutrients that it needs to sustain it. So your physiology will oftentimes take over, so that to get your body what it needs, the nutrients that it needs. So you have to stop restrictive dieting, which means you have to start feeding yourself nourishing foods regularly. And sometimes that can be scary, because if you have a lot invested in being slim and thin, and you want to diet to get there, you are afraid. You may be afraid to eat more food. You have to start to feed your body nourishing foods regularly throughout the day. You will not gain weight. You will not get fat. As a matter of fact, eating healthy, nourishing foods throughout the day is going to optimize your metabolism. It's going to help you think clearer. It's going to give you more energy for movement. And you will be nicely surprised that it will help your body achieve a wonderful sense of health and well-being, including if you want to lose weight. Your body will naturally be able to lose weight. Restrictive dieting is probably the #1 reason why women have food cravings. And so I'm encouraging you, you must stop the restrictive dieting. You can start to put in, get rid of the diet mentality. There's so many diet books. If dieting actually worked, then we wouldn't have so many new diets coming down the pike every day. It has to be more of a lifestyle change, where you start to treat yourself with more respect, with more dignity, and you're nourishing yourself out of self-respect and not deprivation or restriction. So stop restrictive dieting. It'll start to ease up the need to eat foods that you feel like you shouldn't eat. Because a lot of times when we are under eating or we're on rigid restrictive diets, it sets up a deprivation mindset, and something in us just wants to rebel. It's like the kid in us wants to rebel. And so we break out in a food binge, or we break out in eating foods that we don't really want to be eating because they're not in alignment with our health and fitness goals. The optimum way to manage your stress is to stop restrictive dieting. As you learn to feed yourself and nourish yourself healthy, your body is going to start to be happy with you. Your body's going to start to feel more vibrant, and it won't be worried that you're not going to feed it. Because when we are under eating, when we're on restrictive dieting, it sets up a lot of fear in us. We don't know when we're going to get our next meal. It doesn't feel safe to not eat regularly. And so that puts a lot of stress on the body, because it starts to feel like, well, maybe there's something wrong. Maybe we're in a famine. And so the body, the metabolism slows down, the stress, the cortisol, the stress response comes up, because the body thinks that you are in danger. So restrictive dieting creates even more stress in the body. So aside from the deprivation mindset of feeling like you just want to rebel. It also sets up an increase in the cortisol. And remember, the cortisol is the stress hormone that makes your body crave high concentrated, fatty, sugary foods. And those are the foods typically that when we're having a food craving, we run towards. So start to educate yourself about good nutrition, start to put in the good foods, stop worrying about how much calories foods have, and concentrate more on how much nutrition the food has. High quality proteins, high quality fats, and also allowing yourself to indulge in things that you find delicious in moderate amounts. When you start to give yourself regular foods regularly, you will diminish that sense of deprivation. And sometimes that takes a little time to work that out, because if you've been in restrictive diets or in the diet mentality, it might take a little time to feel at peace with eating certain foods, because sometimes we get brainwashed into thinking we cannot handle certain foods because we are under eating. So eating enough food is essential. That's one important step for you to get a handle on uncontrollable food cravings. The next thing is connected, of course, to eliminating the stress in your body, is to start to cultivate more mindfulness. So mindfulness is a non-judgmental awareness, because often what happens is it's not always the circumstances in our life that create stress. It's the thoughts that we have about the circumstances in our life that create stress. And if we are thinking there's something wrong with us, there's something wrong with my body, I can't do this, life is hard, those are stress thoughts. Those are negative stress thoughts, and they frighten us because it's constantly telling ourselves that there's something wrong. So that is producing the cortisol. If we're beating ourselves up because we think we don't have enough willpower, guess what? That's a stress thought, and that creates more cortisol, which creates the need, the craving for these foods that you want to avoid. So eventually all the willpower in the world is not going to stop it if you have this negative self-talk, you have these fearful thoughts that something's wrong, something bad is going to happen. So you want to become more mindful of your thoughts. You want to start to get more present with your inner world. And that will start with taking time to breathe, taking time to slow down, taking time to be aware of your inner voices, the things that are really driving your patterns. And it could simply be, as you're driving home from work, taking some breath into your body, relaxing your body, maybe listening to some relaxing music, and start to think about or start to reflect on, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about one of your coworkers who aggravated you today, and you're thinking about how frustrated and angry you are? Because those are stress thoughts, right? If you're thinking about something that's stressful and stressing you out all the way home from work, guess what? You're going to walk into the house and you're going to have uncontrollable food cravings, because you set yourself up, you're priming yourself with all of that cortisol. So you need to become more mindful. And it starts with the breath, it starts with the intention of breathing, noticing what you're saying to yourself, noticing what you're saying even to other people. Because a lot of times, if we listen to what we're saying, we're talking stress talk, we're talking negativity, we're talking the worst possible scenario. So you want to start catching that and start replacing it with things that are more empowering, more uplifting. And maybe if you have this thought that there's something wrong with me, or I'm not enough, or things are not working out for me, you can simply replace them with, well, how would it feel to believe that I'm okay? How would it feel to start to believe that things can work out for me? What can you say to yourself? What are the things, the actions you can do today to help you to become more mindful of your inner chatter and to start to replace it with things, with voices and thoughts and words that are much more supportive and not stressing you out? So mindfulness is an important key to being aware of our inner thought patterns, because our inner thought patterns can produce the stress that we're having in our body. And so you can be in charge of that. Awareness is the first step, and that means taking the time to be with yourself. And again, if you cultivate mindfulness, ultimately we want to be non-judgmental. We want to not judge ourselves and just observe the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions that come up for us, and then to start to change those thought patterns, because those thought patterns can certainly be changed. You just have to first acknowledge what they are. So start listening to your inner dialogue, start to be aware of what you're telling yourself, start to be aware of what you're telling other people, and that will be the beginning of de-stressing yourself. If you can start to be more supportive, encouraging, if you notice you're going into a fear response, how can you calm yourself down? Sometimes just simply bringing your hand to your heart, your hand to your belly, taking a nice deep breath in and let it go will activate a relaxation response in your body, and you will become more mindful and present. And that will help you a lot in relaxing yourself so that you can not feel compelled to run to the pantry, run to the refrigerator, because you are overly stressed. The third thing that I am sharing with you is an important technique, a wonderful technique that many people are using right now that has dramatically shown to decrease cortisol levels in the body. But before I share the third step with you, I want to invite you to get my free ebook, 3 Steps to Stop Emotional Eating, because emotional eating and uncontrollable food cravings are closely related. So I'm giving that free ebook to you today. You can just press the link below. It's 100% free, and it has lots of tips and techniques and strategies that are going to help you with emotional eating. And like I said before, uncontrollable food cravings are closely associated with emotional eating. So go ahead and get that book, and you can learn more. And the third thing that you can do is to start to apply EFT tapping, emotional freedom techniques, so that you can overcome food cravings in as little as 15 minutes. So emotional freedom techniques is a user-friendly, simple technique that enables you to activate the relaxation response in the body. As a matter of fact, it's been clinically shown to dramatically reduce cortisol levels compared to talk therapy or the control group of not doing anything, just letting time pass by. So you want to learn this technique. It's extremely handy. It can actually nip it in the bud. If you have a food craving, you apply it. It will relax you. It will make you more intentional. You'll come from a place of choice. You could make a decision. Do I want to eat it? Do I not want to eat it? And in the moment, it's a great thing to apply. It's also over time, if you practice something like EFT regularly over time, it can help you not only diminish the food cravings, but help you with the negative self-talk and the other stress in your life as well. Because stress is really the underlying driver of a lot of destructive, self-destructive behaviors, and of course, it's also the underlying driver of a lot of health problems. But EFT tapping can be applied directly to the foods that you are craving. And it's really pretty cool the way this works. So I'm going to encourage you right now to follow along with me. I'm going to teach you how to apply it and tell you specifically how you can apply it to a food that maybe you're consistently craving. So what happens if we have a food craving, it does activate there's a part of our brain it actually activates. It activates the neural structure of the brain, and that sets us up even more wanting the food. So what tapping has been shown to do is that when you're tapping and you're thinking about the food, you're sort of rewiring the brain. So I'm going to show you now how to apply EFT tapping to a food craving. I want you to first think about a food that you often crave. You might even be having a food craving right now. You can also bring that food in front of you, not to torture you, but to show you how well this could work. Because the thing about cravings is when we suppress a craving, we're sort of pushing it down. And then it's like sitting on a beach ball in the water. The least little thing will have it pop up. The idea with tapping is that we can let the craving move through us and then it goes away. So we're not suppressing it, and actually tapping is a great tool for that in many ways, to let the emotions, the feelings move through you, and then they dissipate rather than suppressing them. So I want you to think about something that you might be craving now, or the best time to apply this is when you're having a food craving. So let's activate that craving. Maybe there's something in the house that is tempting. You can put that in front of you and notice how that feels, notice the craving. And often we measure it on a scale of 0 to 10. How big is that craving? Maybe you have a craving and it's measuring 10. You really, really, really want it. Or 0 means you don't really want it and you shouldn't be tapping on it at all because there's no need to. But call forth the food, or call it to mind, or put it in front of you, and then we can start tapping. And so we start with the side of the hand, and I'm going to encourage you, if you're in a safe and appropriate place, to follow along with me. Take a deep breath in and let it go. And notice how you're feeling in your body. You might be feeling a little self-conscious about doing this, and just notice all the feelings. But I want you to think about that food you're craving and notice how strong that craving is. And then we do something called an acceptance phrase. This is the setup phrase, and we accept where we're at with it. So even though I have this strong food craving, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this strong food craving, and at times it feels uncontrollable, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this strong food craving, I accept myself. And then take a deep breath in and let it go. And as you're tapping, if you're new to this, keep your eyes open so you can follow along. But I'll also give you voice cues if you want to close your eyes, because I want you to call to mind the food that you're craving and notice how it feels to crave it. Maybe there's you're salivating, or you're thinking about the taste of it on your tongue. So you want to let all of that come up so it can move through you. Not to torture you, but to let it come through you so that you can be free of it. So tap the top of the head and take a deep breath in and let it go. This strong craving, I can feel it in every cell of my body. Tapping on the third eye, I really want that food. And notice how it tastes. See yourself going to the food. Maybe you have a ritual around the food as you're ripping open the bag or putting it into your favorite bowl. Notice the anticipation of having the food, the feelings, the emotions. And then you're tapping on the eyebrow. Take a deep breath in and let it go, and just allowing all of the thoughts and feelings and emotions when you think about that food. Take a breath and let it go. This strong craving in the side of the eye. And again, you're calling forth the food and you're noticing. Maybe there's some memories associated to that with that food. It's all connected. So just let it flow through you. Underneath the eye, take a deep breath in and let it go. Even though I have this strong craving, I accept myself right here and right now. On top of the lip, take a deep breath in and let it go. Even though I have this strong food craving, and at times I'm not able to control it, I choose to accept myself right here and right now. On the crease of the chin, take a deep breath in and let it go. Breathing in, letting go. And then on the collarbone where the bone sticks up, that little indentation underneath. Again, closing your eyes and thinking about the food, noticing the feelings, noticing the sensations in your body that get activated. This strong food craving. Then tapping underneath the arm. You can do both sides or just one side, or like this, some people like to go. And take a deep breath in and let it go, and you can wiggle your head a little bit, wiggle your body, tap the top of the head. Once again, come back to the food craving, the food that you might be craving, and think about it and notice. Notice the thoughts and feelings that come up for you, the sensation that moves through your body. And even though I have this strong food craving on the eyebrow, it's safe to let it go. The side of the eye, ease and flow. Release and let go. Underneath the eye, take a deep breath in and let it go. Ease and flow. Release and let go. The top of the lip, breathing in and letting go. Ease and flow. Release and let go. And the collarbone, breathing in and letting go. Underneath the arm. Take another breath in, let it go. Back to the top of the head, breathing in and letting go. You can release your hand, you can shake out your hands a little bit, shake out your body. If you have water nearby, drink water. Water is great with this process. And then tune into your body now and notice where that food craving is now. Call forth the food that you were craving and notice where it is. Has the number moved? Has it gone down? Has it gone up? Sometimes it goes up before it goes down. So if it's moving at all, that's great. If it's staying the same, then you can continue with the tapping. Maybe there's more stress around this. So the more you de-stress, the more you're going to activate that parasympathetic response in your body, which is the relaxation response. You're going to lower the cortisol in your body, and you're going to be able to come from a place of intention and choice, where you can be the master of what you are feeding yourself. So if you can certainly go back and rewind that and tap along with me. Again, in the thread below, I'm going to leave a link where you can learn a little bit more about this amazing technique that will help you to lower cortisol levels and to diminish food cravings. In addition, if you want to dive a little deeper, you can watch my video about how to stop stress eating. It goes a little more deeper into applying EFT tapping and other techniques that will help you to be more mindful around food. So you can stop blaming yourself for lack of willpower and start empowering yourself to eat with intention and not be a slave to uncontrollable food cravings. Thank you for joining me today. If you like content like this, please subscribe to my channel. If you know someone else who can use this help, please share the video, and I look forward to next time. Until then, keep on taking care of yourself. Bye now.